Transformers has had a tough time with live action films. I've personally enjoyed most of them, but they were rough around the edges, and with Rise of the Beasts, I didn't really have high hopes simply because it seemed like the cast was very loud in a lot of interviews about how it was going to be so unique and different, and now we found out that it includes a heavy dose of modern day Hollywood's trendy agendas. I have a few different things to show off, but before we get into the topic, if you enjoy the content that I create, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Follow me on social media like Twitter or mine so that you can see when my content is posted. And of course, if you do really enjoy the videos and the live streams that I create, please consider becoming a Dark Titan via Patreon or a supporter via YouTube memberships. So starting off with this Bounding into Comics article, Rise of the Beasts reportedly includes heavy dose of modern day Hollywood trendy agendas and makes Optimus Prime more of a loser. I had a lot of worries when it came to this film. I was still hoping for something good and entertaining though, right? Because I love Transformers. I'm sure many of you love this franchise, but unfortunately, I can't be surprised anymore. This is why I don't get excited for a lot of movies that release now, because I know there's a likely chance that they're going to be ruined. Film critic and reviewer Price of Reason shared his recent review of the film where he first detailed the film annoyed him. He begins in true Hollywood fashion. Not only does Rise of the Beasts, directed by Stephen Capal Jr., failed to deliver anything truly fresh, it's the first movie in the franchise that has actually managed to annoy me. That's not something that I can say I felt from the other movies either. I've always loved Transformers, and the other live actions, again, were rough around the edges, but I still did enjoy them all to a certain extent, and I've never felt annoyed with them. But it says, after explaining that the plot involves the Autobots searching for a key that will prevent Unicron from not only destroying Cybertron, but allowing them to return to the planet, he reveals the film contains a heavy dose of modern-day Hollywood trendy agendas. As dumb as much as the writing seemed on previous installments, there was still a sense of escapism, even if those movies were admittedly somewhat of a nostalgic guilty pleasure. I do have to agree with that. They did really hit you right in the nostalgia. This movie starts with a heavy dose of the agendas, and when I say right out of the gate, I mean immediately after the opening credits. The main human protagonist, Noah Diaz, lives in Brooklyn, New York. His brother is sick and his family is facing financial struggles, and he has to go to a job interview. About 30 seconds into the movie, Noah's mother tells Noah that he should pretend to laugh at the white interviewer's jokes because the whites like that kind of stuff, and maybe if he laughs, the whites will agree to give him a job. This is so absurd. It is so ridiculous that right at the start of a movie, or at any point in a movie really, this is what they think is going to be funny and trendy. This is not what people want to see in movies. Never mind movies about Transformers. You are not talking to people who want to listen to social commentary all day, who want to listen to inaccurate statements like this, like, haha, wow, the whites are strict and maybe the whites will give you a job if you pretend that they're funny. That's just disgusting, and what it is it's racist. I know that there's some people, probably the people who created this film, that says you can't be racist against white people, but this is that. He next detailed, anyhow, 1 minute later, a street hustler on his block tells him that he hates capitalism, which is why he decided to become a thief. This is instantly reminding me of things like, Disney's Miss Marvel series, the constant social commentary. Also reminds me of the show that they did where Falcon becomes Captain America. Falcon and Winter Soldier. People didn't like those shows because of the commentary that were shoved into them. I don't think that people are going to like this either. Then Noah goes to his job interview, but the male Karen that was supposed to interview him tells him that he has canceled the interview. Why would the guy wait for Noah to show up for the interview only to cancel it and not cancel in advance? Yeah, don't think about it. It just seems like this movie is sloppily written. And he also says the weird modern day ideology doesn't stop there. In this movie, like most of Hollywood films, these days they don't actually show any type of romance between the two main characters. In parts of the movie, it seems like they want to show it, but ultimately don't, because of course they do not want to show a relationship between a man and a woman, because they don't want to promote that, because they view it as, oh, traditional values. We can't have that in movies anymore. I mean, you would think that they would focus on, I don't know, the fact that there are fucking Transformers running around, but of course they want to throw in that human drama so that maybe people can relate to it and see themselves in this movie. I'm sorry, I've never watched Transformers for that. We also heard that Optimus Prime is more of a loser in some parts of the movie. While they don't go full Luke Skywalker in The Last Jedi, they definitely make him more dislikable. He is grouchy and pessimistic, so we don't have too many details there, but I can definitely believe that they would try to do something like that with this, very beloved character. One of the lead actresses previously said, I think the idea of, nothing is ever really new under the sun, things work because they've been working a certain way for so long, so I think, with this, you have these kids from Brooklyn. We've never seen Brooklyn kids meet Autobots. It's never happened. We don't often, as black and brown people, we don't get the opportunity to see mind-blowing things like aliens and things like that, or we're not put in mind-blowing scenarios like that. Which is so ridiculous. Are they really trying to say people of color have never been in sci-fi movies? Then we need to go all the way back to something like Independence Day. What about Lawrence Fishburne in Event Horizon or The Matrix? What about Danny Glover in Predator 2? What about Cisco in Star Trek? I mean, the list goes on and on. I'm only naming a few here, but if you start going through sci-fi franchises, you're going to find a ton of fantastic black actors and characters. The problem is that these people want to pretend the actors who broke through before them didn't exist, which is terrible. You're just denigrating other actors and their success to prop up your own, and this is why I hate people like this. This is why a lot of people despise modern-day Hollywood directors, producers, actors, because they are so full of themselves. They're not being revolutionary, they're being petty. I'm really sad to hear that all of these things have happened to this movie. Even the critic scores are pretty freaking rough for this film. Let's just do a quick refresh. The all critic is sitting at a 54% and the top critic a 34%, and the movie did only just come out, so I don't know if the audience scores are going to stay this high, but they're looking better, an 89% and an 87%, which doesn't really line up because it sounds like a lot of the messaging is very blatant. In a lot of films, the messaging is a little bit more subdued and people typically overlook it because they're not, they're not pointing it out. They're not actively trying to find it. And those movies typically do successful. But right now, the audience scores are pretty solid. I don't necessarily think they're going to stay there because the movie only just released, and these are like the Transformers lovers. The people who would watch any Transformers movies are going to see it, but the critics hate it, which honestly is kind of surprising given the fact that this, film has so much messaging in it. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this and of course found it important and informative, please make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you didn't, make sure to give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.